guys? Welcome to another episode of the Stay Tranquilo Podcast. We're here with Mikey Ferreiro. Happy New Year. Welcome back. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday season. We got an awesome episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the Ironman Championship that this guy raced in, a little bit about some whiskey talk. We're going to talk about the restaurant here that we're at. We're here at beautiful Catch of the Day in Miami, Florida. So yeah, I'll shoot it to you, Mikey. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
All right, thanks. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Happy holidays. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves, and I'm definitely enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Get out for a few days of little vacation time.
Oh yeah.
It's great to be here with my brother Andre. Always a pleasure sharing the mic with him.
Oh yeah.
Touching up upon the last podcast that we had a couple years back, huh?
Yeah. We had recorded it probably 2 years ago, and maybe even more. It might have been 3.
It was one of the first ones.
It was one of the first ones. It might have been 3 or 4 years ago. And that was the name of that episode was Go With The Flow. So if you haven't listened to that one, I recommend you maybe take a look at that one so you can see the evolution of like how we've become to today, right? So kind of getting into that, and I'm sure we even touched about it. I don't even remember the conversation too much, but I'm sure we talked about it. But we spoke a little bit about, you know, how you got into triathlons. I think at that point you had raced already in at least a half Ironman. I don't know yet if you had done a full, but you obviously are just qualified to do an Ironman Championship a few months ago, raced in it in KONA in Hawaii, which we went out there, which we'll get into a little bit about that. But before we get into that, tell them a little bit about how you even got into triathlons and then how that kind of evolved into wanting to even race in an Ironman.
Well, I mean, cutting the long story short, because obviously I went into it the last time.
Yeah.
I've been doing triathlon since I was 14 years old, and realistically, it's a place for me to learn my limits. Still haven't learned them yet, so that's why I'm still doing it. But it's a lot of fun. It really tests the mental strength that one has, and it's really neat to be out there on the course and sharing that course with the professional athletes, you know, racing for records, down to the age group athlete that comes in literally last place at racing 17 hours.
There's in Kona when we went, there was a few people that were, I think, 82 plus that had actually raced in the KONA World Championship, which is insane.
The oldest lady that just finished in this year was, I believe, 78, and there was a gentleman that was older.
There was a guy that it was definitely in the 80s. I know there was one.
And it's incredible just to be part of that, and you know, it's really nice, the camaraderie that's out there, because realistically everybody's competing against themselves. You have numbers on your back and you're racing against people, but you go in with your goal and you stick to your goal, and you push your limits, and you know, you see what you could do that day.
Yeah, to me, the most astonishing thing about the Ironman is the fact that you're out there by yourself for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. I mean, it's just you against you the whole time, and there's no one there to like hoorah you. You know, there's no one there to kind of like push you, because you got to be out there and kind of push yourself. You know, and you got a tattoo that says "Mind Over Matter." Tell them a little bit about that tattoo, and what the Mind Over Matter means to you.
Before I go into that tattoo, you know, you said something very that important. A you versus you. You versus you is one of those that I live by. And my buddy Mario, shout out to him if he's listening, if he's tuning in. A you versus you. He taught me that one on a long. I'm gonna go into that one and then we'll get back into it. Go. So that one, I'm never gonna forget that story. So we're out in Key Biscayne. It was a 16-mile run, and we're 8 miles in, and I had worn the wrong socks that day. I was wearing short socks. Typically I wear a high sock, and my Achilles was just getting destroyed. It was a huge blister forming. Skin was like breaking. It was bleeding back there, and Mario's in a wheelchair, and you know, Mario always comes here to the restaurant, and we have a lot of fun hanging out. And one day he's like, "Let's go run." So we went that day, and then we ran, and then 8 miles in, I'm like, "Dude, my legs hurt. I'm bleeding. I can't feel my feet. Like, it's just really, really bad in pain." And he looks at me and he goes, you could at least feel your legs. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? You're right. Let's keep running.
Whew.
And after that, you know, we became some pretty good training buddies. We would go out for runs in the key, some big pushes in the rain, in the wind. It didn't matter. We would do it. And we definitely shared a lot of miles on the tarmac together. So, you know, it was a special person that definitely taught me you versus you. It's there's nobody else. There's nobody else that you need to compete with. Nobody else that you need to compare yourself to. Just the person in the mirror.
Yeah. No. And going back to Mario and like that whole thing is like, you at least you can feel your legs. Talk about like a shift in mindset. You know, where it's like, yeah, I'm in a wheelchair. So what? This is my life. This is my circumstances, and I just got to figure it out. And I got to do what I can do with this situation. You know, and that really puts it in perspective, because sometimes I feel like we take for granted, like, you know, just like the simple things of like being able to walk, being able to run, you know, and you take it to a whole other level about like, you don't take it for granted because you're showing yourself how capable the body really is, and what really a strong mindset can do to you, right? I mean, there's so many people. I mean, you see people with like prosthetic legs and their stories, you know, and how they can compete at the highest level. They go skiing, they could do anything. That people like us sometimes are like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, you can do it. Shit, there's so many people that do it, you know. So sometimes it's like, I feel like we're very inclined to make excuses, and it's all comes down to the mindset that we have.
No, anything is possible in this world. Anything is possible. Just have to put your mind to it.
100%. So, you know, fast forward, you go, you know, you started racing in triathlons in high school. Then that evolved into doing like long tris and then half Ironman. And then I think when you did a full Ironman, I think it was in Indiana,
in Texas.
That was the first. That was the first one. And then which is the one that you did that qualified you for?
That was
KONA?
That was Indiana. That was Indiana.
Indiana.
In 2021, coming out of the pandemic, was it?
Yeah,
I believe so. Or just before the pandemic.
It was before the pandemic because you weren't. I think it was before, because I think you were worried that you weren't gonna. You knew that your time was good enough to qualify. Yeah. But you were worried that you weren't going to qualify because of the whole pandemic thing. And then I remember you calling me and saying, like, "Yo, I qualified."
It was a mess. It was a mess of qualification. It was a very odd year of racing.
So it was definitely odd, and this may not be the normal way, I guess, to qualify. But tell them a little bit about like, how do you even qualify for the World Championship Ironman?
Okay, so basically how it works is each race you have to go to a qualifying race. They have qualifying races around the world. I picked to stay here, let's call it locally in the United States, just because of travel, and it's a little bit more comfortable to race, you know, in the U.S. without the differences in customs and road closures and travel, but basically.
Yeah,
so
you gotta bring your bike over there.
You have to do everything.
You know, you gotta get everything. You gotta get accustomed to the environment that you're racing in, all that.
So you go out there, you go race. Each category is split up depending on age, and basically depends on how many people are in each category. On a certain percentage qualify. Typically, it's in between 3 to 5 persons. Let's call it for 150 people that are racing qualify, and so on and so forth. If the larger categories do get a few more slots. But to be certain that you get a slot, you have to be top 5.
Okay, got it. So top 5 in your age group, and you qualify.
You
doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get in, but you
No. You get a slot. So you get a slot. So then you go to the ceremony and they say, hey, like, do you want the opportunity to go race in KONA? And then bring out your credit card and go race in KONA.
It's not like it's a free invitation. So he qualifies. He gets into KONA, which is like unreal.
Well, it's been a dream of mine since I started racing.
He's been talking about it since
I was a little kid.
And I always said, like, shit, I got to find a way to get out there and do it, because that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And like, not only is it a once in a lifetime opportunity, you told me it's the last time they're going to end up doing it there.
Well, they're doing a bunch of different things. You know, after this year, they realized that racing a 2-day format on the island was too much. So I don't want to get into the bits and details, because they haven't released too much information 100%. Just yet. But it's interesting how it's gonna be evolutionized, the sport of Ironman now.
No, it's cool. The environment's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, going to a race. I've been to 2 Ironman, a half and a full, and the environment's awesome. Like people, you're there at 5 in the morning. And people are getting, rallied up. I mean, it's a long day ahead of them, and they know. So the support system out there is amazing, and just seeing everyone together and the athletes that are out there, it's awesome. So if you ever get a chance and there's one in your area, I highly recommend checking it out. It's an awesome event. While he was running and biking and swimming, we were drinking. So it was a 9-hour
Hey, that's
event.
a sport as well.
We had a drinking marathon. But no, it's an awesome event. So talk a little bit about like that day, the Ironman Championship, and like that just what it was like racing in Hawaii.
It gives me goosebumps still.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, it's like
The course
we said,
is wild.
The course is such a respectable course.
It really is.
You definitely earned that day. There's no shortcuts. There's no easy day.
Yeah.
It's earned. I mean, I'll take you through the day. So at the beginning of the day, it was a Thursday morning that we did the race on, and things haven't clicked just yet. I'm not a great morning person, so my motor skills are not there in the morning.
Obviously.
And once we got into the water, there was like about a 100-yard swim to where the swim start was, and you swim out there with the whole category. It was about I think 200 and change guys in my category, and still hasn't clicked. And we line up. We have the long boards and the paddle boards holding us back from the start, and from there, the guys were already cheering. Everybody's getting hyped up.
Electric.
And I was like, I need to tune out for a second. So I just went underwater for a good 30 seconds, and all you see is everybody hovering in the water. And that's when it said, game on, let's go.
Yeah.
We have a big day ahead of us, and we're going to conquer this. You see everybody
How
in the
the
water.
people around you when you're in the water? Are they like conversing with you?
No.
Everyone's just like
everybody,
in their head.
everybody is like animal mode. Like it's very, very primal. It's very just like hyped up.
Is anyone talking shit to each other?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I mean, not that I was paying attention to it. Everybody's in their zone. And like we were talking about, obviously there's competitors. You're racing a race.
Yeah, exactly.
You have somebody to your right, somebody to your left. But you're racing yourself. You're racing. You know what you're gonna finish in.
Yeah, because you're not worried about anybody's time. You don't know anybody's time when you're racing.
No.
It's not like you got a leaderboard on the track. So it's like you just got to go there and put the best time you can put.
Yeah. So the swim start, and it was pretty chaotic. There was a lot of people in front of us in the water just because the wave starts.
Yeah.
We were the last wave to go out that day. So we had a lot of traffic in the water. I'm not particularly the strongest swimmer, so I kind of just hung out in the pack and got as much draft as I could.
Yeah.
Got a few elbows here and there, but hey, made it happen. Got through the swim. The swim was I was really, really happy with the swim. Getting
did
through it.
really
It was
well.
nice. It was enjoyable. The water was perfect
But it's
temperature.
like, so put it in perspective, I think that was probably one of your best swims that you had.
Yeah.
And then you see where he's on the leaderboard compared to the rest of. I mean, you're talking about these guys are the elite of the elite.
No, they're fish out there.
Fish, dude. It was like, how the hell?
Oh, I don't think we even mentioned the distance. The swim is 2.4 miles.
So it's a 2-mile swim, and then from there you go into the bike, which is
112.
112, and then you do a full marathon, which
26.2.
26.2.
Yeah. So it's a long day ahead.
Yeah.
So from the swim, hyped up. Hey, the swim's over. That's typically my worst leg.
Yeah.
So got on the bike and just started pedaling. Gained a few slots, and the climb up to Javi was very difficult. I was not expecting to suffer as much on the bike. Again, it was earned. It was not a easy bike course.
I forget what that road is.
The Queen K.
What is it?
The Queen K.
Okay, yeah, and you're heading straight north on the island, right?
Yeah.
And it's an up and down kind of
down,
like climb,
you're
but for the
facing
majority of the
wind.
time, you're technically going up the whole way,
Yes,
right?
for the halfway point.
Yeah.
And then at the
And then you make that loop back around, and you come back around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the path is crazy. It's legit lava rocks.
Yeah.
Because the way the islands go, and it's the big island of Hawaii, where Kona is. It's basically you got the coast, and then it just goes straight uphill to the island, which is all volcano basically. There's 4 volcanoes that make up the island.
Yeah.
One volcano alone makes up 50% of the island. So it's all volcanic basically. So
Yeah.
when you see where they're racing, it's all volcanoes, so it's hot as hell. And then this volcanic rock on the side makes it that much hotter.
Of course. No, and I mean it just radiates the heat from the
Yeah.
floor. So
Like asphalt times 100.
It's a math equation just to make sure that it's the hardest day possible.
Yeah, seriously.
So after the swim or after the bike,
Yeah.
better yet. So you're on the bike and you're trying to get as many calories as you can in, so you could withstand.
Yeah, consuming
the-
salt, right?
consuming salt. Your bars. I like the whole food, so eating the whole foods. And for the first hour, just food didn't want to go down. So just like trying to stuff my face, trying to get the calories in.
Yeah.
Finally, after the hour, things settled down, and I was able to calm down, get some calories in me, and from then, finished off the bike course very strong. Happy with the bike split.
Definitely did.
And then onto the run, and
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a nice hot run. Very difficult, but we made the best of it
Yeah.
on the run. Making sure I stay hydrated, making sure I stay cool.
Yeah, you saw the people when because the transition from the bike to the run was right kind of like where the main stage was, kind of like in that area, and you would just see people drenching
Yeah.
themselves with water,
Yeah.
getting the wet towels, putting it on their neck, devoured in sunscreen. Like
Yeah.
you could just
Yeah.
tell it was hot out there.
Yeah. But no, it was just it was a nice run. It was a great course. Again, it was a very up and down run.
Yeah.
And then going into the lava, or what was it? The natural energy lab.
Oh,
I
shit.
mean,
What's that?
it has it has a reputation to be like where people crack. And
It's just
definitely-
super hot there.
dude, it's one of the hottest parts of the island. It's where all the
That's on
solar
the run?
panels. Yeah. It's
Ah,
where all
yes.
the solar panels
That's right.
are. So it gets the most heat. And it rode up to that reputation. Mile 16, give or take. That's when the engines were failing. But I knew that there was no way that I was going to quit that day.
Yeah.
There was no way. And it was a jog, stop, walk. Stretch it out. Make sure you get the fluids in still,
100%.
and make your way to the finish line. And
Yeah.
there's no other way.
Yeah.
It's impossible to quit there.
I mean, shit. It's easier said than done, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considering the way that course plays and like how tough it is and how hot it is, and while also trying to be as competitive as possible. Going into like the most elite individuals in that race.
Yeah, that last mile. I mean, that's something that I could play back.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is why I've been training for 14 years
100%.
to go on a leaky drive, and you see the tree above you, and family and friends. Thanks to this guy, he came. Another one of my buddies, Julio, came
Yeah.
with his girlfriend, and it was so special. It was really such a special event. It took everything out of me, and emotionally, mentally, physically, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I have the support group, because this is not an individual sport. Down to my girlfriend Natalia, helping me out, making sure I have my food,
100%.
making sure she reminds me to eat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Trooper.
she has a big place in my heart, along with my friends that really got me through this event.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat off to them. And a lot of what was done that day was for them.
100%. No, it was awesome. You had that bib with
Yeah.
everyone's name, which
Yeah,
is super
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like it's just crazy, like how everyone has their thing. It's like he had dedicated a mile to
Yeah.
a different person, which I thought that was amazing. And it just shows, like for you, that was something that you were like, I need something to get me through every
Yes,
mile, because
yeah.
every mile is going to be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
difficult.
Well, you have to stay occupied. You have
Yeah,
to keep your
exactly.
mind. You have to keep your mind motivated.
100%.
And the minute that your mind turns off, your body's gonna turn. Your mind could go a lot further than what we physically
Than
can.
you think, yeah.
So for me, that's what I stuck with. I knew that the run was gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I was mentally prepared and mentally strong for that run.
Oh, yeah.
As fed and as healthy as you could be, you need that mind to be working for you.
Yeah.
And that's what got me through the run. and I feel like it was very well trained. I would do that consistently on training runs, and I saw that it would work. So I just stuck with the plan.
Nice, I like it. So is there another Ironman in the near future?
No. At the moment, no more Ironmans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the racing the bike, changing the chapter in life.
Yeah.
Everything is about understanding, accepting, and just embracing everything that you've done. I feel like I've embraced my Ironman sport to the fullest. I'm not saying that I'm done, but done for now. We'll circle back to that maybe on the next podcast.
Things can change.
But now it's evolutionizing into business, and that's the chapter of life that I'm excited for now.
Yeah, and so kind of touching on that, what is something that Ironman has taught you to apply into like real life?
Dedication, and focus. I would say those are two words that I would say that Ironman has taught me. Embracing it into the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around it. You have to be dedicated into what you do, and you have to put your 110% into what you do. We touched on balance on the last podcast. A big switch in terms of balance for me is I've learned that yes, balance exists in the long term, but in the short term it does not exist, and you have to put all your marbles into what you want to do at the moment in order to achieve that. And then yes, at the end of the day, you pick and choose, and you could relax a little bit and embrace the balance. But if you wanna do something and do it to the fullest, there's no such thing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, the amount of dedication that Ironman takes is one thing, but like it's not like you just do Ironman.
No.
You help run basically a restaurant full time. So touch on that. You do the Ironman, you do your training that requires a certain amount of hours, certain amount of time, but you also are here managing a restaurant.
So it was
inventory, personnel.
It was interesting. It was interesting the dynamic of running in the restaurant industry, because obviously the restaurant industry runs late nights.
Exactly.
So I had to evolve my training schedule to work with me. A lot of my training schedule was very lonely, but hey, I chose that path.
Yeah.
And then
hypothetically probably maybe benefited you, considering that's how racing.
Yeah. But day to day, it was a challenge. I mean, there were days that you would be wrecked, and you had to go out there and do the miles, or that you'd be wrecked and you have to do a full shift and close out and give your 110% during the shift.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that the restaurant's running and whatnot. But
life doesn't stop.
Life does not stop, and it doesn't take any prisoners. But basically working 60 hours a week, give or take 50 to 60, I would say.
Yeah, and again, it's something that you're clearly passionate about. It's something that you genuinely enjoy to do, and I think when you align kind of like what some of your passion and some of the things that you really want to do, you're able to kind of push through those like, I don't want to do this, I'm uncomfortable, because you're more inclined. It's like you're doing something for a bigger purpose.
Exactly.
So, transitioning. So the restaurant. Tell us a little bit about Catch of the Day.
Okay.
What you got going on here?
So Catch of the Day, we've been here now. We'll be celebrating our 25th year in business in May. Very excited for that.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough to have a dad that has built this beautiful restaurant, and I'm proud to call it the family business. This is what I love to do. Been here now for 7 years. Worked almost every position. Thanks, Dad, for putting me in the summers as washing dishes. But hey, you got to learn the hard way. You got to learn every single piece of the pie in order to be the best at it.
Exactly. It's to be the best at it, and like not only that, like being at like a leadership position. It's like you now understand every facet of the business that much more, so you can relate to the struggles that they have at that position, maybe some of the problems that they have, and then you know how to work the position. So how are you going to teach someone to train something if you've never done it?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I think it makes sense, right? I mean, you see some of the highest level executives, like even like from as simple as like a McDonald's, like there's a reason why a lot of times they want franchise owners of people that have opened,
Of
that
course.
have worked there, and
Of
they
course.
worked as chefs, they worked as cashiers, whatever it is, and they evolved their way to the top. And it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but it is. You know, those
it is.
people work their freaking butts off to get to that point, and they're probably good at what they do.
Of course.
And it's the same thing from like corporate level
they're passionate, like you
to entrepreneurs. Like whatever it is, like you have to learn the trade first before you can even think about teaching people or leading in that trade.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. No, and it's great to work with our staff. We have incredible
there's
team
people
members
that have
here.
been here.
I think our let's not call him the oldest, but Julio's been with us for, I think he'll be celebrating his 24th year with us.
Is he the one that makes the bread?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
You got to try the bread.
Bread from Julio. We got some stone crabs over here. They look good. But yeah, the catch has been here. There you go.
Oh,
Beautiful.
gracias, Alain.
Let me talk. Some of the best in Miami. Very good. I like it. So yeah, they've been here forever. Great seafood. Awesome happy hour. It's right by the airport, so if you're coming from out of town, it's a great spot to visit.
You gotta pass by. You gotta pass by.
Check it out.
It's a nice tranquilo time.
It is. That it is. I spend my Fridays here a lot of the time. I bring
Yeah.
my laptop, do some work, but it's a good time. So before we wrap up, we're both big whiskey connoisseurs, and we enjoy. So I wanted to kind of like touch on it. You know, I think people like to drink whiskey, but sometimes they're a little intimidated by it, especially when like they're going out to eat. They don't know what to order, you know, what to look for. They just say, I want a whiskey, right? So let's say I'm going to a restaurant and there's 5 or 6 different whiskey options. Is there something that I should look for? You know, what is a good kind of like basis of like choosing a good whiskey to drink?
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, there's a bunch of different types of whiskeys.
Yeah.
It's sweeter to peatier. In my opinion, I like the peatier whiskeys.
Okay.
Lafroig, I think the 10-year is one of my favorites right now. It's just one of the. It's very, very smoky. It's a slow drinking.
I love a good smoky
whiskey. It's not something that you're gonna have multiple of. Maybe on a long night.
Yeah.
but you know, it's something that you can sit back and kick back with and have some good times over. And then you could go. That's a single malt as well.
Okay.
Then you could go with something a little bit simpler, maybe like a Glenlivet that'll go down a little bit smoother.
Okay.
I personally like the 14 of the Glenlivet, and then
So you said single malt.
single malt.
What are the different? Is there?
So there's blended
Double
whiskeys.
blended,
There's blended
okay.
whiskeys, which you know your Jack Daniels, not your Jack Daniels. I'm sorry, your Johnny Walkers.
Okay.
Your Chivas, your Bucanas. Those are going to be blended whiskeys.
Okay.
Nothing to take that they're not bad.
Right.
It's just
Yeah,
they're you know
personal.
they're aged and then they're blended.
Gotcha.
To create the different flavors and different palates that people like. I personally like the single malts. I find them a little bit more traditional.
Okay.
A little bit more simpler in the taste. They're not as I would say spicy. They just go down a little bit smoother.
Got it. And you did a whiskey tour for Julian's.
For Julian's
right?
bachelor.
You went to where did you go, to Kentucky?
To Kentucky, yeah.
And what distillery did you go to?
We went to Maker's Mark.
Oh shit.
We went to
Nice.
Willet. We went to.
Oh damn! So you did multiple.
No, we did a full day.
Oh dang.
We did a full day out
That was
there.
all in one day.
All in one
Oh
day.
my God,
All
you
in one
must
day.
have been
A lot of whiskey was drank that day. And what was the other one? We went to Maker's Mark. Probably was one of the coolest ones.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's cool because they're the one that do that melted
Yeah,
cap,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you got to see that. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
we saw that.
That's really cool.
Some of the guys on the trip ended up doing some bottles there that they got to dip their cap. So it was really neat. It was really neat to share some time. You know, and just like anything, you know, you have a nice cocktail, you have a nice drink, and it's meant to be enjoyed in great company.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and there's, you know, I mean, the traditional way to drink it is either on the rocks,
Yep.
you know, or, you know, nice big cube, or neat,
Yeah.
right? But there's ways that you can create cocktails out
Of
of this.
course,
Whiskey
of
sour,
course. Yeah. You know,
old-fashioned.
there's great ways to get into
Even
whiskey.
people that, if you're an espresso martini person,
With
you
it,
can make
yeah.
it with bourbon.
With bourbon, it comes out really nice.
Yeah.
And you know, those are kind of like nice ways to get starting to learn your palate in whiskey.
Yeah.
Is kind of order a cocktail and see how you like it. You know, you go order something.
It's definitely not easy to drink right off the bat.
No.
I remember like the first time I tried whiskey, I was like, oh, okay.
It'll grow some hair in your
exactly,
chest.
It grows some hair on your chest. So.
Yeah, but definitely try the cocktails. You know, the old fashioned is always a house favorite. One of the ones that we make here is called a New York Sour. Andresito, the bartender, makes it delicious.
Really?
New York Sour.
Okay.
You got to give that one a shot one of these days.
Yeah.
And then there's it goes down the line, and you know there's a flavor for every person. So give it a shot. Drink whiskey. You know.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cuba. You got to drink that.
Yeah. When you've already drank too much whiskey and you need something to tone it down a little bit, you can tone it down with some Johnnies. But yeah, cool, man. Well, this was a pleasure. I enjoyed it like crazy. Anything you wanna add towards the end?
Just thanks for tuning in, guys, and I wish you guys a very, very happy New Year and many blessings. And you know, go get what you want and make it happen.
Yeah, and come by the catch of the day.
Absolutely.
Get some stone crabs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.